time member of the Montgomery County Board of Elections, has seen these changes over the last few cycles. He and the secretary of the board, Ami Hober, are going to talk about what's going to happen over the next few weeks to get us to a certified election result, because there are still several spots left to be determined on the Board of Education. So, which is an interesting all-party race in Montgomery County. So I'll turn that over to you, David and Ami, to talk about what's going to happen. And on behalf of the county government and our residents, thank you to everyone at the Board of Elections, the staff that have worked so hard through early voting, already processing ballots. People don't realize how early everyone has to get up to set up all these polling places, how late everyone goes to bed taking apart the polling places. So congratulations again on a smooth election day.
Thank you so much, Rich. And you are exactly right. Yesterday, 1,000 voters who voted in person yesterday. To our knowledge, there were no significant wait times at any of our 232 polling places. That's in addition to the more than 20,000 voters who voted in person during early voting from May 2nd through 9th at 14 early voting locations across the county. We would also like to thank all the people who helped make this happen, especially the hardworking and sleep-deprived Board of Elections staff and the approximately 3,000 election judges, many of whom worked, like you said, very long days, some from 6 in the morning until after 10 in the evening. We also want to thank the many other county departments that have been helping us, including the Departments of Recreation, General Services, Technology and Enterprise Business Solutions, and Police. And we don't want to leave out the Montgomery County Public Schools, where we use a lot of their buildings as polling places. Yeah. We released results last night and early this morning that included almost all of the in-person voting except for the provisional ballots and more than 22,000 mail-in ballots that we received and processed early. Over the course of the process, we have sent out 134,000 mail-in ballots. We have 110,000 people in Montgomery County on what's called the permanent mail-in ballot list, which means that they want mail-in ballots for all future elections. We've received almost 63,000 mail-in ballots back so far. We're still processing ballots, including some of those that were received at the drop boxes the latter part of yesterday, and there will be additional ballots arriving by U.S. mail today and up to the legal deadline. We're also still, I don't have a number yet on the number of provisional ballots that we have, but we will also be counting those. We'll make that number public once we have it. The staff plans to complete its research on those ballots between now and next Wednesday, May 22nd, at 10 a.m. is the statutory time that we are to begin the provisional ballot canvass.
Yes, some people wonder why we're still receiving mail-in ballots, and the way the law is written, if they were postmarked yesterday, they have up to 10 days for us to actually receive them, to have them be legally counted. So that takes us up to Friday, May 24th, and we will still be receiving ballots at that point. We'll be counting ballots then at least through May 24th, and our guess is it'll probably go longer than that. Depends on how many people actually mailed them in. And we will, that's not unusual. We counted past that length of time in the last cycle, and we expect, given the increase in mail-in ballots, that's likely to continue as a pattern for the Board of Elections. And not only do we thank all the election workers from yesterday, we really want to thank all the people that come and help with the canvass. There are tens and tens of people that come every day and sit there and process the mail-in ballots with us. And we couldn't do our job without them.
I'll just add to that the board doesn't call races until we've counted all of the eligible votes. News organizations and candidates can, and some have, called races, but as far as we're concerned, we only say that there's a winner when we're completely done. I will also add that if we receive mail-in ballots among the ones that we are telling you that have not been processed yet, where the oath on the back of the envelope or inserted inside for some of the ballots, if that oath has not been signed, our staff will be trying to contact voters to give them the opportunity to cure their ballot. We are not allowed to count a mail-in ballot without a signed oath. All of you in the media and all of your readers, viewers, and listeners are invited to attend our mail-in ballot canvass that Ami was just describing. It resumes tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Montgomery College Germantown campus, and I'd like to thank Montgomery College for making that available to us. We have roughly 50 tables of bipartisan teams that process the ballots. All the ballots are processed with people who have different party affiliations as a check on each other. While our plans could change, we currently plan to meet every day except Sunday between now and May 25th, which is the Saturday before Memorial Day and the day after that statutory date where we can stop accepting mail-in ballots. We'll be releasing the results each evening of each day's canvass.
Yeah, let me add to that. Again, we encourage anyone who is interested in viewing the election process to come to the canvass, watch it, ask questions of the staff and of us, the board members, who are always there, just to make sure that you're happy with the results. We believe that this is a completely fair and fair process with a lot of integrity. And we encourage everyone to come verify that for themselves.
And I would just add to that, and then happy to answer questions, that while there may not be that many races this time that are going to come down to the very last ballot, as everyone in Montgomery County knows, we've had that happen many times. And of course, it could happen in the general election. And if you want to be ready for that, come see us in the primary canvass so that you understand how the process works.
Thank you so much, David, for that point. And I was gonna remind everyone of that. There are some new wrinkles this year. Mail-in ballots can be processed and approved before Election Day, so that many of them can be counted, because under the old rules, they were all put aside and could not be touched right until the Thursday after Election Day, which meant with so many mail-in ballots, our final results, especially in close races, were delayed. And
indeed, we actually met 4 times between April 22nd and last Saturday, and we processed 23,000 ballots. Now, they were not tabulated until yesterday, and they were released last night. Those results were released last night, but that was made possible by that legislation that you're describing that was signed by Governor Moore.
Mm-hmm. And I want to reiterate, just in case I don't think the point has been made, that you, David, are a representative of the Democratic Party. Ami is a representative of the Republican Party. The Board of Elections is made up of people of both parties. All the people counting, all the tables are made up of people from 2 different parties. So there is an effort to make sure there is bipartisan counting, so that no one fear that one party is getting an upper hand through the process, because it is designed to have Democrats and Republicans together watching, supervising, participating in all of the counting, so that there is a general appreciation and acceptance of the results.
You are absolutely right, Rich. That is, in fact, why we both wanted to come here today together.
And we often do bipartisan commentary together. And I think that's a good example we try and set for the rest of the country.
Yep. And again, to reiterate, you don't even have to come to the counting site. You can watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch everything that's happening online, so you can check in on the process.
Good point. Good point. I think we forgot to mention that this is in fact live streamed.
Right.
So you can watch.
And why we wanted the board on the call today, just to answer questions, because who knew what the results were going to be. And, you know, while there, as David said, there's no final election until every final outcome until every ballot is counted. You know, obviously some people can do the math and figure out what's, you know, where people have some significant leads. Still some races to be determined. But this is so important to understand the process. I think especially for our local news media to understand the process, because I would expect in November, turnout will be much higher. There will be many more ballots submitted. The lines will be longer, the whole, you know, so to make sure everyone understands the process that we use in Maryland, so that we can, you know, answer the questions for reporters, you know, even after this round, the primary is all put to bed. If you want to come out and talk to David and Ami, go to the Board of Elections, get an update, do stories about how the process is going to work, they are ready to help.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rich.
So, all right, Lorna, they're happy to take questions. We're happy to take questions about elections.
All right, this is wonderful. Thank you. Members of the media, please raise your hand if you'd like to pose any questions regarding the elections. Any questions? Oh, there's Jeannie Bixby, Mobile 360. Good afternoon, Jeannie. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Lorna. Hi, David and Ami. I was wondering if you know when we will have the latest numbers for voter turnout. On the County Board of Elections site, the spreadsheet I'm pulling up still has the 11 a.m. numbers from yesterday. So I was wondering if you know when we'll have those.
I do not know the answer to that. I think at this point we have to get those from the State Board of Elections, but we will have that as soon as we can. I did give you the number of people who voted yesterday.
Yes.
And I realize that there's a certain amount of adding it up. The one thing that we don't have at this point is a count of the people who have returned their mail-in ballots, since that's in the process of both happening because of the people who vote by mail, where they aren't even in our hands yet, and also the ones that are in our hands. Essentially, the second half of yesterday, the ones that were picked up at 8 o'clock last night, have not all been processed yet. So we should have a better handle on that. I'm guessing it'll be sometime later today or tomorrow.
My next question was going to be about those ballots, so you read mine up mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Members of the media, any more questions regarding elections? Jeannie, your mic is on. Do you have a follow-up question?
No, I'm done. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Ginny had her mic on because she wanted to make sure we took a moment to thank her and congratulate her for being named a senior reporter.
Oh my gosh.
With Moco 360. So you know,
congratulations.
Any more questions, members of the media? No more questions? All right, Mr. David and Ami, you can remain on the call or you can part if you need to go. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
Before you do go, again, on behalf of everyone in the community, the county government, thank you for the work of the board, the work of all the board staff, all the volunteers. I've been told that you even had one volunteer, Marilyn Lepowski, a 94-year-old county resident who comes out every time to be a precinct judge. So we want to thank her. And, you know, during this time when, for a variety of reasons in America, it's not easy to be involved in election administration. Thank you for both of you being volunteers in serving on the board, making these decisions and making sure we have free and fair elections in our county that everyone can feel good about and everyone can know that every vote cast fair, legal, and counted correctly.
Hey, thank you, Rich. And let me just say, since you did mention about our election judge who was 94 years old, we also have a number of election judges who are 16 and 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
And there's actually a very wide range of ages. If anybody out there is interested in serving as an election judge for the general election, they can text the word serve to 77788, and it will connect them with the process for volunteering.
All right. Well, thank you once again, both of you, for being on the call and for your continued work over the next several days, because you're going to be hard at work sitting, watching ballots be counted and having to make decisions about what does this mark mean? What does that? How do you want, so anyway,
Thank you.
Really, all the reporters, if you want to see the process, if you want to do those stories now in the future, I think it's so incredibly important that we continue to tell the story to the public about how voting works so that they can remain confident in the outcome. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So with that, we're going to move on. A few little things. This will be a busy weekend in Montgomery County for people who are looking for something to do. On Saturday, May 18th, at the 17,000 Crabs Branch Way in Rockville, we will be doing our kickoff to Public Works Week for the County Truck Day. So it is a Montgomery County Department of Transportation truck depot and salt barn that will be open to the public. People can come in, see how all of our equipment works, explore the construction and transportation site, and get just more information about exactly how the county and our partner agencies, but especially the Department of Transportation, keeps everyone moving in our road network. So if you want to celebrate Public Works Week, great time to come out on Saturday, again at 17,000 Crabs Branch Way in Rockville, one of our truck depots. This month is also Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We will be having a very big event at Seneca Valley High School from 11 to 4. There are lots of things to do at Seneca Valley High School. In the cafeteria all-purpose room, it was huge. Food, products, things to buy, free henna tattoos. So lots of things. The Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Services will be there in mass to help with our Asian American Health Program. So Dr. Bridgers, Dr. Davis, Dr. Ashford, and their colleagues will be there explaining all the great things we do. And it's a wonderful time to also see different performances and just understand, again, the very diverse community that we have here in the Asian American community and then broadly in our county. So again, Seneca Valley High School from 11 to 4 on Sunday. And once you're done at that event, you can go to the Montgomery County Fairgrounds for Public Safety Day from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the fairgrounds. You can come and meet our local firefighters, police officers, paramedics. You can meet people from the Gaithersburg City Police, Rockville Police, Corrections, from the Maryland State Police, and a chance to see live demos, to talk to all of our first responders, for the kids to climb over the fire trucks, to see the range of equipment that we have here in Montgomery County. So it is a wonderful event, and feel free, everyone, to come out both on Sunday to hit Seneca Valley High School for the Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage event, and then the Community Public Safety Day at the fairgrounds. So, and again, to make sure, that is Sunday, May 19th. I'm worried that the flyer that we put up actually said the 21st, but it's Sunday, May 19th. Okay, there are even free shuttles for people who want to come out there to the fairgrounds from Westfield Wheaton Mall and the Germantown Transit Bus Center. So if you can't drive, you can take a shuttle. Shuttles go every 30 minutes, leaving at 10:30, and the last one leaving the fairgrounds at 6 p.m. So with that, I am happy to introduce Anita Fasalo, who has been our library director since the beginning of this administration. Anita will be retiring for some reason at the end of June after 50 years with the Montgomery County Public Libraries. So Anita started as a high school student in Silver Spring and has been with the county libraries ever since. So she's gone from high school page to director in her career. She has seen the dramatic change in libraries in our community, in the country. Probably, when she started digital, maybe people didn't even know what digital was. So digits just meant fingers. So, and now we are, in a totally different universe with all of the materials that the library covers. So our library system has 22 branches across the county, more than 400 employees. We have a collection of 7.7 million items. Last year, our patrons of the library, not just our residents, because you can get a library card if you work in Montgomery County as well, but more than 10.3 million items were borrowed or accessed during the year from the library system. So it is a remarkable operation. Anita has been at the heart of it for decades and now leading it for the last 6 years. So we wanted to make sure people had a chance to hear from Anita, and of course, for the media to know that her departure is coming up, and really it is worthwhile for you all to take a visit to Rockville or another one of our libraries, interview Anita, have her talk about the monumental changes that have happened in the libraries and the future of libraries. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our outstanding director of our Montgomery County Public Libraries, Anita Vassallo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Madaleno. And so, so my career with public libraries started when I was a kid, living in the Four Corners area, the Woodmore area of Silver Spring. And I was definitely a bookworm, also the oldest of 6 kids. And the library in Four Corners, which is no longer there, was very walkable for me. And so you can imagine that when you're 15 years old and you have 4 siblings under 6 in your family, you like to find places to go. So I would spend a lot of time at the library in Four Corners. And finally, my mother said to me, "You're there so much, you need to find out if they'll give you a job." And they did. And so I worked there through high school. I worked at the White Oak Library through college, and then was hired on as a regular merit employee for the county in 1974 in April. So I did mark my 50th year with the county last month, and it's been really something to see. As Rich says, the transformation in public libraries from when I first started to where we are now is absolutely incredible. It's like we went through the Industrial Revolution, but on the digital stage. So, of course, there were no computers in libraries. There was not even the thought of having computers in the library. So if you worked as a librarian, you had to keep everything in your head. You had to know what books you went to look up a piece of information for someone. We were definitely information gatekeepers, and things like the World Almanac and the Statistical Abstract were our best friends. And we also did a lot of book recommendation. This was all material that you had to learn and know and be able to pull out of your head at the drop of a hat. So, during my career, I've worked as a children's librarian, an adult librarian. I worked in what was called the Film Services Unit, where we used to loan 16 millimeter films out to people who would take them and show them at birthday parties. And that was like very fancy technology back then. So the changes that we have seen in public libraries over the past 50 years are absolutely amazing. I clearly remember being at one of the libraries and talking to somebody about this new thing called Google, and maybe we should try it as a search engine on the computers. If only I had been prescient enough to know that when Google did their IPO, I should have gotten right in on there. And also Amazon's, of course, because who knew back then? So what we've also seen in Montgomery County, of course, is the increase in our population and the diversity of the folks that we serve now. And public libraries need to meet the customers that they are serving in a way that best supports the customers in their knowledge needs, their recreational needs. Libraries have always met the challenges that the community brings to them. We're no longer just all about the books and the information. Libraries, of course, serve now, as they did in the past, as a community hub where folks know that they can come and be welcome. You don't have to have a reason to come into the library. You don't have to have a special entry pass. The libraries are there for anyone and everyone to use as a place to be, as a place where the staff can help people with a wide range of needs, whether it be how to apply to get a free computer through Montgomery County, or how to find the best travel information to go on your trip to the Galapagos Islands, from how you apply for SNAP benefits. We also find ourselves here in Montgomery County as strong partners with many of the other departments who support our residents. We partner with HHS, we partner with Recreation, with the Department of Environmental Protection. We rely on DGS and OHR. We're fortunate in that respect. Most public libraries don't have that intricate web of support from local government as we do. We've also seen a change in our staff members. Our complement, we aim to be reflective of the community that we serve. People come to work with us not because they like books and reading, but because they like people. We're basically a service organization. That is what we are. And so that really hasn't changed over the years. We've always been there to meet people and support their needs. I would say that it is more challenging for us now at this point in time, particularly after the pandemic. There are many needs that come to the library that we are not really equipped to handle. Societal impacts on our services are very visible to us. And then also now in the library world, in the public library world, as probably most of you know, there is what might be called an attack on public libraries with book banning, actual legal reprisals against librarians who provide materials that reflect and serve their community. This is something that is of concern to me, of course, as the library director. Montgomery County is a safe, almost safe sanctuary for us. And of course, the state of Maryland this year passed and signed into law the Freedom to Read Act, which offers legal protection for public school and academic libraries in this state. It's not, my passion for libraries really rises out, of course, my first interaction with books and the world of books and what they could provide to me. The importance of freedom to read for all individuals in Montgomery County, in the United States, and across the world is still one of my main driving forces. Intellectual freedom cannot exist in a society where political influences are restricting it. Libraries have been called a cornerstone of democracy. I feel that that is one of our main roles. And so the ability for us to provide what we know to be credible and truthful information to our communities is one of the really important reasons for public libraries to exist. Of course, people have asked, why are you still here? Everybody can find everything they want on the internet. They can get an item at the drop of a hat, and of course they can, but in many cases they don't know what they're getting. So I see public libraries as continuing to be that cornerstone of democracy and one of the most important services that a local government can provide to its residents. Public libraries, because we're free and open to all, and as Rich mentioned, you can be a resident, you can go to school, you can work here, you can get a library card, access our materials. We probably interact with more county residents than any of the other departments of county government. We're definitely forward-facing in the face of the county, and so we strive to provide the excellent customer service that this county wishes to see and really is known for. So at the end of 50 years where I haven't really done anything else, I am looking forward to transitioning back into being someone who can look at local government from the outside instead of from the inside. And it's been wonderful. I have had many wonderful people that I have worked with, been mentored by, met, and I look forward to handing the library system over to the very best candidate to direct it for its next iteration. That's it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Anita, for that. And again, for members of the media, I'm sure Anita would be happy to host you at a library, talk about some of these things, show you some of the work we're doing, talk about the new state law, protecting librarians, talk about our commitment to access, freedom of thought within the community. It is interesting. Montgomery County Public Libraries are the only library system that is part of the county government. We have two departments on the call today between libraries and HHS, where we are totally different than all the other counties in Maryland because of the range of services that we provide, and having the libraries as part of our county government as opposed to under an independent board sitting out like the school system gives a layer of protection and support to the system and to the employees because of that. So, but again, there's always a wrinkle in Montgomery County of how we do things differently. One of the things that I find fascinating as a budget person, that when we started to go to digital materials, I think everyone thought, oh, this is going to be so much cheaper because you don't have to buy the book since that's, paper, and digital materials have turned out to be even more expensive than actually having a physical book. Anita shared a wonderful article from a Seattle publication where talking about, one of the great books of American literature, Britney Spears' autobiography, that it's $17 to buy the book for the library system, yet it's like $65 to buy the digital version. And the added wrinkle about a digital version is they put a limit on the number of times it can be borrowed. And then if you want to keep it in the collection, you got to pay again. So, whereas people, I thought one day figured digital libraries would be, a great cost savings. Actually, it's even more expensive for libraries. And Anita's been at the cutting edge of actually fighting publishers in a way to try to stop this price gouging. God, I sounded like Mark Ilrich there. And get fair pricing. Maryland actually was an early leader in passing a law, but I think you told me that the publishing industry has challenged that law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really correct, Rich, and that's something that has impacted us in our budget. It is, you called it price gouging. It's like a racket, yeah, because we don't hold on to the materials. We do have to pay again and again for them to make them available to everyone. And Maryland did try to legally address this along with some other states, but of course, publishers are in it for, to make money. So they do not want to give that away. When we buy a book, we have the book, we pay for it once, and until the book falls apart, it is part of our collection, but that is not the way it works with the digital materials at all. But we continue on, and hopefully council will continue to fund increases that we need to our budget in order to be able to make these services available to people, because I think I also showed you a graph, Rich, that showed that we've totally flipped the use of our collection. Prior to the pandemic, maybe we saw 25 to 26% of our budget spent on the digital materials, 70% of the collection budget, not of our whole budget, on the physical materials. And now it's absolutely different. We spend 75% of the money on the digital materials, 26 on the physical. So.
But the important thing to note, because of the pricing, it's not like we're necessarily getting more material.
Yeah.
It's just the public wants the digital material and it's more expensive.
Right.
So. All right, questions, Lorna. Questions. For media.
Members of the media, do you have any questions for Director Lasalo at this time? Please raise your hand. No questions? Maybe they'll want to do the tour of the library.
I can't believe senior reporter Ginny Bixby does not want to ask a question. But
now that's going to be a thing, huh?
oh, yes.
Congratulations to the director.
Thanks, Jenny. Ginny and I can have a side conversation about libraries and things, I'm sure.
I will say I was very interested to learn in the budget conversations recently about the limit on the digital checkouts. So that will be making it into something future.
Any questions for the director this time? No questions?
All right, thank you, Anita, so much. And thank you for your leadership and service for 50 years to the people of Montgomery County. Thank you for everything that the library system did. It's a great segue with our public health people. We use the libraries as a distribution point for test kits, for gloves, for masks. The libraries played an incredible role in helping the community, especially at a very frightening period of time when, we really went out there early and acquiring test kits. Dr. Bridges and I were conspiring to figure out how to get as many test kits as possible. Dr. Stoddard would find them here and there, and we were able to get them all out through the library system. So thank you to you and your colleagues who were able to play that very important role for our community. So with that, we'll segue to the public health team. COVID numbers are wonderful. They are at the lowest levels. This is the fewest hospitalized patients with COVID since we started tracking this 4 years ago. So the number of people in our hospitals on COVID, quite low. We realize this is seasonal. I'm sure the numbers will come back for some reason, maybe when it gets so hot, we're all in air conditioning and being indoors. But again, we can't say it enough, the recommendations about vaccines and staying up to date on vaccines for COVID, for the flu, especially older residents like me and the immunocompromised. So getting those vaccines critically important, whether it's for this or other things. So any updates from any members of the HHS team beyond just trying to convince me I'm not old? So.
No updates for me. Thank you, Rich.
Wow.
No updates for me, Rich. And you're not old. You are seasoned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly. I second that.
For our seasoned county residents, you want to stay vaccinated. So a little salt and pepper and vaccination, the key to well-seasoned county residents. Dr. Stoddard, anything? Okay. Then any general questions, any questions to the HHS team? Any questions about other issues that we can try to respond? Any comments about my bad humor, whatever?
I laughed out loud at the Britney Spears joke. You just didn't hear because I was muted.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I expect a senior reporter to have a heightened level of humor. So,
Members of the media, any questions at this time? There's no more questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. You want to say goodbye, Mr. Madalino?
yes, thank you all for joining us. Next week, assuming all goes well, we'll have the county executive back on during for the media briefing. And again, thank you for everyone for joining us. I think you've got some good news stories here, even if it's not from this briefing, really, to follow up on the Board of Elections, how they're doing the counting, how it's going to look like in November. Those are very important stories for the community. And again, for someone like Anita Fasalo celebrating 50 years of service to the community during a time of great transition in the libraries, and really an opportunity to talk to her about what is the future of libraries. I encourage you all to reach out to her for additional stories.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.